Do you think the 40-hour work week will cease to exist? Since so many of us are burnt out to an extreme even words cannot explain, do you think collectively we can change it? I know we already are by expressing our ideas and experiences to each other now. But do you think things will change in your lifetime? I hate getting too pessimistic about the world and life in general. It makes everyday life suck more, but do you think this bullshit will ever end? Sometimes I feel like I was born on the wrong planet. Man, I hope so. Having a 3-day weekend is a game changer. I just had 2 in a row, and I felt like I got my life back. 1 day to recover from the week. 1 day for chores obligations. And 1 day for fun. That should be the new normal. If nothing changes, we'll go straight back to the Gilded Age with 16-hour days 7 days a week. Only if we fight to shorten it. They won't give us a damn thing. They like having us spend as many of our waking hours at work as possible. Keeps us under their thumb. Nope, we are supposed to be exhausted so we don't have the power to unite, protest, riot against them. I'm sure it will be reduced one day. There's a strong push for the 35-hour standard working week to be reduced to 32 in France. And also for the legal maximum 44-hour week standard 35 hours plus 9 hours of overtime at 1.5x pay per hour to also be reduced. Oh wait. Reduced? Lol. I bet you are in the USA. Expect hours to increase and pay to be reduced even further because you know, it's the land of the free and the home of the brave. The 40-hour workweek will continue to exist until the general public collectively realize that it goes against their interests. There is evidence that this is beginning to happen, but only time will tell if it mounts to anything larger. In other countries outside USA, yes, inside USA, the capitalist foothold is so strong that there is no chance of us getting anything like this. Almost 10 years ago my boss told me 40 hours week wasn't going to pay bills and I need another gig. The 40 work week is going way, but not down, only up. If you're in the US, doubtful. I don't think the upcoming generations will even be able to survive on the 40-hour week alone, let alone be able to comfortably retire on it. I'm only 36 and have already accepted that I will likely not be able to retire. At least not in my early 60s like my grandparents and dad were able to do. I think it might, but I don't think it will be done in a way that it benefits those who need it most. It will pass without protections for hourly workers who just see their paychecks reduced by 20. I know the theory is the same pay for fewer hours, but I don't think it will work out that way. I'm losing hope. It's not even those in power who are fighting so hard against it. It's the bootlickers. They'll gladly keep us all down just to make sure the unworthy never get a chance. If you're in the US, good luck. I moved from the UK to Europe. 35-hour week. However, technically it's 42.5 hours one week and 34 the next. We don't work every other Friday and get 6.5 hours OT in a 2-week period. Does it work? Yes. If Europe can do it, so can the US. Just need a union. So long as people keep accepting positions with those schedules and complying when asked to work extra, it will remain the typical schedule. Personally, I don't even apply to jobs that advertise 5x AITA anymore. 4x10s or 4x12s for me. Sure, the hours are still there whether 40 or 36-48, but the difference in extra 1 or 2 days off each weekend makes it all worthwhile in my mind. Not in the US, but probably in other parts of the world that care about people and quality of life. I think in the EU they will end up moving to a 4-day workweek and a right to work remotely for jobs where that is possible. In the USA, we are going to reclassify people as slaves and companies are just going to be able to own you. Eventually in the US. It will. It will start off in a few very progressive states like California and Washington. And the last states to adopt it may, and I capitalized may due to how they may never transition from that, are states like Alabama and Florida. IWFH. And usually don't work 40 hours if we are correctly staffed. Correctly staffed being the key phrase. To be frank, unless we collectively do something, they will not just change the law. Work wasn't always 40-hour week. It changed through the years. Companies bet on the fact that, no matter what law they pass, we will accept it, and if someone protests, it's going to be probably one or two people. I know what they say about people being united sounds cliché, but it's true. If we want change, we need to bring change. On another note, 4-day workweeks have taken some traction, but I think most of them still do 35-40 hours. To me, this is progress. No matter what we do though, if it is not on a really collective level, it will not pass. I asked the company president if they would consider a 4-day workweek, considering AI did half of my department's workload. It was met with an incredulous laugh and a side rant about something unrelated. So no. I'm so pessimistic. I'm so burned out. Our boss left, so THST leaves big boss in charge, and they are changing everything for the worse. I am struggling so bad. 4-day workweek at 5-7 hours a day seems more than enough given the gains in productivity and production. Also size of the workforce. I mean, a lot of folks are forced to take on second jobs just to keep a roof over their heads. What needs to change is the call. I don't want to waste most of my life working for someone else's wealth while I struggle to hold onto my survival needs. I wasn't born just to survive but to truly live. Everyone born into this existence deserves a life worth living. Just because I was born into a poor household doesn't mean I will gladly sign up to be a wage slave and be thankful for it. Anyone who says I should be grateful for my lot can promptly go fuck themselves. First step: kill unpaid forced overtime. Companies have gotten too used to demanding unpaid overtime. It's part of the reason productivity is so high. People are basically treated like slaves. It has to, right? With AI and robotics eventually. I already am on a 4-day week. I hope so. However, I bet it'll be state mandated, regulated like everything else. And once more I will personally have to bend over sans lube. Feeing state that votes against its own interests. In the US, it already has. The 40-hour workweek was supposed to mean 40 hours in the office, with paid lunches as part of that time. Most people now have unpaid lunch breaks which are added to the end of your shift. So people are spending 42.5-45 hours in the office already. And that's if they're lucky enough to have a 9-6 job. In plenty of non-office professions including mine, 50-hour weeks unpaid lunches not included are normal. With the exponential growth of the abilities of AI and robotics, it won't be long before any given job will be doable by automation. The only problem is that those in power now don't like sharing the wealth with the rest of us, and if they no longer need us as workers, no telling what heartless crap they will do to us. Hopefully when the boomers die out and the Gen Zers retire, we need to demand it. The defeatist mentality in this thread is what will cause us to stagnate. Yay. But 30 will still work 40-60 hour weeks because that's how their parents and grandparents did it. It already stopped existing forever ago. Remember 9-5? Now it's either 8-5 or 9-6, and no way can you take your lunch as your last hour to GTFO of there. Vote for progressives. They're the only ones trying to work in this direction, and get your friends to vote for them too.